ChrisLBC.
I'm BubblesDelFuego.
And today we will be bringing you, for the first time ever, the Reignited Trilogy.
Live on stage, Madison Square Garden. I was told to do this like 20 minutes ago. I should bring up the chat.
Alright, so I'm just gonna count myself down, and let's do this. So yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go!
Good luck.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, this game came out like a few days ago, and we're already speedrunning it, because, you know, that's what we do. Load screens are great. You'll see a lot of these. Okay, rolling. Nope, never mind. So, this game starts off amazing. Look, we already have a skip. Whee! Normally, Nestor, you're supposed to, like, listen to him. But yeah, we just don't have time for that.
So I noticed you're playing with the new thing, the map. Playing with the map.
Oh, I didn't mean to have the map on, but
Okay.
it's for the casuals.
Okay, for those that just lose track of where he's going.
Yeah.
Have a map.
I guess so. So yeah, what I did with that Nestor skip there is you just charge jump into the dragon, like, right before you rescue him. And for some reason, Spyro, like, hovers in the air and then drops back down, and it allows you to skip the dragon. Normally, Nestor's, like, unskippable.
What I don't know what it has to do with, but I just noticed something with dragons in this game. Like, you don't have to be where you end up being when he talks to you to skip it. Like, if you get stuck on him while it drags you to the other side of the dragon, it'll still start the dragon, and you can walk over there during. Like, even Sparks will eat dragonflies during.
Yeah, true.
So I'm not sure. It's just the first part of understanding how that skip works. But we don't need to understand it. Just works.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
now I don't have to listen to Nestor in 120. Like, it's great.
Yeah. It probably has to do with something like if you're in the spot at the end, and if you jump, it takes you a little longer to get there, maybe. So, I don't know, but...
Yeah, I think it has to do with, like, not being in the spot when you rescue him or something.
And
So, yeah,
this route works out pretty nicely on Stonehill, so you just dive right down, touch the dragon, get out. And there should be around, like, 70 gems at this point, around average, and feels pretty good.
Yeah, I don't like to spend too much time in Artisans, so that's why... Like, the gems aren't very good in this world, so that's why I kind of chose this route. Chose to cut out a dragon out of Stonehill.
In Spyro, the overall goal at the end world to overall get to Nork's area is just 6,000 gems, 50 dragons, and 5 eggs from thieves. And to get past Artisans, you just need 10 dragons. And gems are a lot higher in count, and you get better gems at the later levels. And so we just care mostly about just getting the 10 dragons and any useful gems that are on the way in Artisans. And then once you get into Peacekeepers onwards, that's when you care about getting everything all the time.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go for a little trick here. This one was found on, like, day 1 of this game. I think accidentally.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to do on accident. You just, like, stand in the spot.
I don't think I did it. Oh, no, I got it. Oh, too much height.
Yeah, you gotta react real quick. Because it can actually send you about 5 times the height that he just went. And you'll have to dive down for about 10 seconds until you finally get back.
So one thing that you might not have noticed is fan chests will still, like, home into an enemy. Like, the debris that comes out of it will home into something in the distance. And when you get it to home in on a chest, it actually auto-collects the gem inside, so it's really, really cool.
Yeah. A lot of the tiny little details in this game, if you're a speedrunner or just like a super big fan that's played through the game a lot, you'll notice they aren't really still there. But something that's still there is like where gems spawn out of somebody when they, or out of something or someone when they die. So like a lot of gems will still be in the air, so there's still that cool feature of killing somebody and then jumping up to get the gem midair. before it hits the ground. Some tiny little details like that. At least I'm appreciative that it's still around.
Yeah. And then they added some extras, like certain enemies that the gem used to go in the air, now it can just home in. That's pretty nifty too.
Yeah.
Are you ready to go? I love the balloonists. They added some good dialogue on them, and they sound really goofy, and it's great.
Yeah, them and the fairies now talk, and when you're practicing stuff like getting that fairy proxy in Town Square, it's really annoying to constantly hear her say, "Hi, Spyro."
Hi, Spyro.
But hearing the balloonist is nice.
They're just really goofy. It really matches like what you would expect from them, from the originals. Alright, so yeah, got out of Artisans pretty quick, and Peacekeeper's gonna be fairly similar. Like, there's actually a lot of stuff you can do from the originals that you can do in this game as well.
Yeah, that first enemy you kill, though, isn't as far away from the wall as in the original, so you have to, like, either start turning really early, or hop like you did right there, but the same route, basically. Has the Spyro 1 any percent already, like, original, already been in this marathon? Or is that in there at all?
Yeah, somebody did, Crash Numbers did it.
Man, put you on the spot.
So
some guy.
I didn't do it because I hate that category. Still having flashbacks to SGDQ.
So this fan chest here, they actually gave a little bit higher of a frame rate and visualization of how fan chests fly and kill people. But you can't reach that guy with the fan chest in this one. It just hits the wall. The little top of the fan chest flies off and kills an enemy.
Yeah, the debris actually just has a lot less range, but it happens a lot faster now. It's interesting.
Adding detail to everything when you remake a game can be punishing for this kind of stuff, because even in the flight levels that we'll see starting off in Peacekeepers, you can sometimes even bump into the debris of stuff in that level too, or have an enemy like bump you around a little bit. It's just you kind of get mad at it, but then you're just like, ah, it's so detailed though.
So this jump is pretty much free, and like in the original, that jump is like one of the toughest ones.
Oh, you can do it in this version, okay.
You can do it really easily in this version. They give you a lot of leeway when you're charge jumping off of a ledge. Like, you can pretty much be all the way off the ledge and then still jump, so...
Okay.
It's pretty nice.
Taking notes.
These guys are ruthless in this version of the game.
Yeah, sometimes they
really easy. Now
sometimes they bundle up. Sometimes I can charge all three. I think I'll just flame them from now on, because it sucks when one stabs you and the rest hide. They've got like not bad gems, so it's like you don't want to go too all out. Still playing it safe until we figure out the most optimal things.
Yeah, definitely.
It's been like 5 days.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff has already been found with these games. It's actually really crazy, just how many people are actively doing these things.
Well, it's one of those games in speedrunning similar to Mario and Crash 1, where you have everything you need at the start of the game. You don't unlock more powers or anything. This isn't like an RPG, so you have all the tools at your disposal immediately already on the controller. You don't have to unlock anything like the other Spyros or Crash 2 and 3 or anything like that. So, you don't... When you have limited options, then when you test something, it doesn't take too long to test it. Because, you know, you got the limited option. Oh, so similar any percent route here from the original with getting those jumps.
I don't know, like, it's really weird. That enemy that just attacked me there, like, that would never happen in the originals, but...
Yeah, they respond quick. But the enemies that originally responded quick, like the Misty Bog Frogs maybe, they aren't quick.
It's so weird.
Yeah, like they decided
really
who wants
off.
to be strong now. Like there was a mutiny or something.
Which is really weird because it throws off like the original difficulty of the game, because now all of a sudden there's a lot more difficulty to just these enemies in the earlier levels.
Like, and so it gives like a new level of skill and comfort you have to like build up over time. So if you're like an original Spyro runner, you'll still have competition with people who haven't ran Spyro ever. Because it's new stuff to get used to. Like if J Hobbs can get record in, Crash 3, anybody can get record in this game,
Shout out to J-Hob.
Like that blew me away. I was like, J Hobbs, like not like any of the Spyro 3 runners, like when that came out, I was like, okay, looks like this is gonna invite some new runners in, so don't be afraid, it's still a new game, and if you wanna run this, you totally still can.
Yeah, definitely. Some people that, like, I really didn't expect to, they're just, like, crushing this game and, like, putting up really tough competition to actually beat their times, so it's pretty cool to see that.
Yeah. First flight level. Do you switch over, do you constantly use analog stick?
I use analog for this entire game.
Yeah,
I don't know.
just like the original.
Yeah, it's just more comfortable for me, and then...
Yeah. I use D-pad. I find the turns to be sharper with D-pad.
Yeah, I'm not sure like if there is any difference. I haven't really tried, so we'll just have to see what people say about it in that.
But for flight levels, I definitely use the analog stick. It's just easy to be precise and curvy.
Yeah.
So it's still the same route here. Flight levels are just ever so slightly different. Like as you saw, he missed that flame back there. But that's just like the hitbox on your flame is a little different in this game. The hitbox of the items themselves. You can actually shoot your flame at a range where you'll be heating up the objects and not even break them. It's really weird. Like you can like heat them up. They'll turn red a little bit.
Really, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, like the planes in Sunny Flight sometimes. If you're not close enough, they'll just turn red but not blow up.
What? It's actually been one of the biggest complaints about this game is the fact that the flame is just like really nerfed in comparison to what we're used to.
We're used to it being kind of like arrows that come out and whenever the tips hit. But you can like flame 360 like Zelda now if you're good enough.
Yeah,
and it's just flames. The entire part where the flame has damage, and it used to just be the front, like the tip of it. And that matters for just tiny little circumstances. Just having like comfortable game control. There's a lot of improv in this game when the route doesn't go right, and so you just want to make sure that you're good at playing the game. Like in general, just controlling Spyro for when that opportunity comes up, and which it will every run. There's no run where you get every gem that you want. That's just not happening.
Yeah. So I don't know if anybody saw, but when I was going to kill that thief, if you're in the air and kill him, you actually skip the entire animation, which is super nice. It's a lot easier to do than in the original, where you had to do some really quick inputs to make that happen. But it's even more crucial to get that animation skip because you can't skip the animation anymore, like normal. So they just decided, like, certain animations now, they decided key chests and eggs animations you're not allowed to skip anymore. Not sure why they did that, but it's interesting.
Are you playing on the original soundtrack or the Reignited soundtrack?
Reignited.
Yeah, I would guess that you got tired of the original.
Yeah, to me it's like I actually do really enjoy the new soundtrack. I think they did a really good job. And yeah, when you've heard the soundtracks 1,000 billion times, it's nice to have something fresh.
Yeah. Do you believe this game will be on PC at some point?
I think so, yeah.
And that topic, that question, always brings up the fact how Spyro and Crash will then be on PC together, and so makes you think like, will there be mods putting Spyro in Crash, putting Crash in Spyro?
Oh, that would be pretty. Yeah, it would be interesting to see where mods go. I'm not sure if there's any cool like crash mods yet, but
I think there is one where you can do slide jumps and crash one.
oh, what? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I saw Kane doing that, and so it just makes you think of the potential. Because when I saw him doing that, I was like, oh my god, I didn't even think about mods. So,
Yeah,
but
I feel like with mods, you could probably just like patch the things that most speedrunners would want patched anyways.
Oh
then,
yeah,
like make a category out of it. I think that would be cool.
yeah, like Super Metroid runners practice with this category where there's no fanfare on the items. So every time they pick something up, it's just instant. They can walk away, and it saves so much time. There's so many minutes of fanfare in each run, and so for this, maybe there could be a thing where there's just 0 cutscenes. Like, you just touch the dragon statue and it just shines and you can keep running.
That'd be super nice. And having like save states and stuff.
Oh, save states
be
would
cool.
be beautiful. That's important for practicing all these things, because once you break a gem, the game auto-saves at like every gem. But for enemies, you need to like touch dragons and stuff.
I'm not sure if anybody else ran into this, but I was trying to play this game without logging into a user account, and what happened is that it wouldn't save my progress at all. So that might be a way to practice, in a way. Ooh, that was scary. Let's just make sure I don't die here. Yeah, so certain jumps like that, like they almost look intentional now because they're so easy.
Yeah.
One thing that's majorly different about this game compared to the originals is that the charge jump is huge. You used to have like this dinky little charge jump in the original game, so you would often have to jump in the air to glide and make certain glides, but now I rarely ever see myself glide anymore like normal. It's all charge jumping from now on. So
And
it just really changes how the game plays.
And I haven't seen anybody else test if like holding charge and jump is the same speed as just charging, but it feels like it's a little slower, and that's just a feeling. But it's almost like in the first one, the speed of the charge prioritized when you jumped and just kept you going at forward speed too much, not too much height. But in this game, it's almost as if jumping is the priority every time you're charging, because you'll go the same height on a jump and a charge jump. Magic crafters now.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job with this world. It just looks really awesome. So, Bubbles, watch this. So once again, I glide into killing that guy because it skips the animation. It's super nice.
Yeah, and I feel like he's slower in this version.
The Spyro himself?
No,
or
that thief.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you're right.
He feels
but
a little slow.
They like buffed every single other thief in the game.
Yeah, it's
it's crazy how fast the thieves are now. I don't know if it's just the case of like you can't hug corners as well anymore or what, but thieves are just crazy.
And the geometry of the overworld map is a lot more detailed, and almost everything has like physics to it. So if you're trying to chase down thieves, you don't have the same kind of geometry that you would have to run around in the environment compared to 1 in the original. So everything can just bump into you, and if you're trying to flame, if you hit something, it'll absorb your whole flame, and it can be a lot more frustrating.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some issues with just collision in general, but hopefully we'll see some patches to fix some of those things.
So,
what is he doing in the stairs?
Oh.
So this game is programmed amazing.
So in the original, when a gem went out of bounds, you would just get it.
Yeah.
Is that the same in this? I haven't had a gem
I think
get out
that
of bounds
people have had like multiple cases where the gems go out of bounds and then they don't home in, so they're impossible to get. And yeah, this This really throws me off because I'm expecting like, oh, you know, it's gonna go down because in the original, this cycle was a lot faster.
Yeah, I keep jumping into this.
Yeah,
this
so you
wall.
really have to like wait like 5 seconds before it goes down.
I'm so impatient. And even in the original, you can even like I think charge jump glide and charge glide to get over it even when it's closed. And you can't.
Yeah, you can't do it anymore.
You have to be patient, and that's just the one thing we don't like to do.
Yeah. Come on, get the box. Right.
So towards the end of this level, you'll see the glide to the dragon. But in the original, there used to be that wall clip, and we would get the thief because he's right there. He doesn't expect us to just ghost through a wall. But in this one, we've got to get a different thief in the any % route now. Typically, there was like 6 thieves that were fast enough to get, including him, or it, I don't know. But, but now there's only like 5 really optimal ones to get. There used to be a backup in case you missed one before somewhere, so.
There's a way to get this thief quick in the cave coming up ahead, but I haven't had any success with it, so I just skip him for now.
Yeah. Once you lose, like, you have to catch thieves in this game off guard, like, real fast, like, within the first few seconds, or else they're gonna stay ahead of you forever. And they're really hard to chase down.
You usually have to do, like, at least, like, 1 or 2 laps of, like, their whole thing to get them nowadays. I don't know. It's...
Back in my day,
Back in my day, you used to be able to get them real fast. So this guy, he's a bit tricky. Oh yeah, I barely missed that. Okay, I got him pretty quick, but he's a big pain in the ass.
I see what you're saying though, because he's always gonna run clockwise.
Yeah, so you can usually just get him right there, but I think I charge jumped a bit early. I think that's what my problem was there.
Trying to impress me?
Yeah, I was. Trying to impress everyone. Failed.
just end the run, it's okay.
Also, yeah, there's like, you can do like these...
You can do the spins too, oh yeah.
Yeah, the spins are pretty great. I mean, they made the load screen so long, they might as well have added something.
I wish you were allowed to charge so you could land on the ground faster.
Yeah, and sometimes when you're entering a level, he like flies in the air for so long. Like, what is?
Yeah, I wonder if it's a. I haven't paid attention on if it's a certain levels thing or if it's like every other level or it's random. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's what you get for getting a game that's been out for like 5 days. Chris has had it for a week.
Definitely. Oh no. So. That's another thing that's changed about this game is momentum. So like I jumped against the momentum of the platform moving, so it slowed me down. Whereas like if I jump while the platform's moving in the right direction, you get like more jump boost. I've seen it used in Spyro 2. You can like in Hurricos, there's like fans you can jump off of that move really fast, and you can jump super far with them. It's crazy. Some momentum jumps. Interesting addition.
So there are still cheat codes in this game from the original. They didn't carry over the go to any world at any time cheat code, like unlock everything, but you can still get the 99 lives, and you can now change Spyro's colors, so if you guys want to do that, he can be all the colors of the rainbow. And you can also big head mode, and so maybe in this future marathon occurrences, if it ever goes to ever bigger time ones, there could be some nice donation incentives.
Yeah, and one thing is like if you prefer a certain color of Spyro, it'll stay on your file for like ever. So like once you activate the cheat code, it'll be on your next file. So you can just always be, you know, green Spyro if you want.
Yeah, the lingering memory of all that stuff, I believe, is intentional, but what it overlaps to besides that, I'm not sure if it was also. Because if you quit your game, like, this run sucks, I'm gonna quit out, do another run. And then if you start that new run, and pause, it'll already be on quit, the marker in your menu. So it's kind of interesting. I think we'll not stress about that too much. It's not a huge deal, but if anybody really wants to prep their run by saving 2 inputs like that, like feel free. But it is interesting. That is like technically tech.
Yeah, like it's like NG plus. I'm setting up my menu cursor.
The only ever time I've seen something like that is actually Oblivion, which is something we've also both ran. But in that game, if you wait, like say 24 hours, and then you start a new game, the wait timer will still be on 24 hours.
Oh right.
And they have to. You're forced to put it back down to 1 before runs. So they did enforce that in that game, so it makes me feel like, will there be the same sort of mindset here?
I don't think so, just because
it's just much
fast.
It's much different, yeah.
And people are always going to forget. It's like, what if you get a really good start, and then you're like, oh wait, at the start of my run, I forgot to turn my cursor back to stuff. Seems.
Yeah. But the point is that like works overall, and we're not entirely certain if it'll affect anything else in the future. So it might get out of hand. There might be some sort of bug where we can just unlock every dragon and then start a new game, and then, oh, look, it's 10-second record or something. And so
I think that would be NG plus if we found anything crazy like that.
Yeah. These guys with the hammers, I think they're worth mentioning because they really get our attention in this version. They have longer range than you, and they react faster than, like, they just react so fast. You almost have to, like, you almost have to flame while you're getting towards them, and that's really hard to flame charge in this game.
Yeah, they added like a little bit of a delay to the flame charge, or like if you try to do it as fast as you used to be able to, like frame perfectly, you will be met with no flame. So
if you put like a thumb over charge and a thumb over flame, and you try to do it right after you let go of charge, it just won't. It'll eat the input. It needs like a third of a second or so. And if you try to roll your thumb across to hit flame, if you touch any other button on the way, it really doesn't like doing it. So, especially triangle. Triangle is like the worst thing to fat finger in this game.
Yeah, definitely. I actually use Reignited controls, so I mostly use right trigger now for my flame, which is very different. But it just feels a little bit better to me, just because, especially with the Xbox controller, I find it's actually tougher to do the old flame charge way. So, you know, adapt.
So yeah. So you missed one pilot, but if it's one of the ones in the center or towards the end, you'll get them on the way through the chests. So, yeah. But it looks like this route on this flight level is about the same. It's a little tricky to get those pilots in the beginning though. Everything else is really easy. Just got to deal with the hitboxes. And you'll see that his turn radius is much worse in this game. So he's stopping with triangle and then re-flying again, or he's bumping into something to make him turn faster and sharper.
Actually, if you press triangle, you actually can't, like, recover as fast. So you can actually just press charge, which is really nifty that they added the ability to charge. And if you just tap charge and let go, he automatically flops out of it, and then just makes it so you can readjust really quick. Super.
That's nice.
Nice addition to the flights, definitely. Especially considering how bad it is to turn normally.
And so there's no dragon skip here. That was the only dragon where dragon skip was a thing before. But in the original Spyro, the camera was the deciding factor on when you actually entered the level. And in this game, that's not the case. It's when Spyro touches it. And there's a fade out on the entire screen.
Mm-hmm. They definitely changed the way that works, for sure. Which is totally fine, because they also made it so that gems homing in when you enter a level will still home in, and sparks will still collect butterflies and stuff, so... Definitely some nice quality of life changes.
Yeah. So Blowhard here. The wizards, I believe, have just been buffed. They start shooting you from
crazy.
They start shooting you from further away, and their lightning can shoot also upwards. They don't only shoot downwards or in a straight line anymore. So if you try to jump and get them, they can still shoot in the air to get you. So you gotta be just super quick. And,
you also used to be able to charge through the lightning, and you just can't anymore.
Yeah, it just hurts you. That's a pretty big deal. I think they wanted to make just boss levels maybe just harder, more like a boss.
Yeah, I definitely noticed like bosses being a bit tougher.
Blowhard used to have used to just be a texture that flew through the map, like pretty much not a interactable sort of thing in the game. But when he glides between positions or stages in the level, you can still interact with him. So you gotta watch out when you're going through that cave if he'll push you around if you get there soon enough. And you'll see that Blowhard at the end here. His gems used to scatter all the way around after you killed him, but they're all in one spot now, so that's nice. In Spyro, whenever there's huge clumps of gems, like we'll see whenever he opens a chest or kills a boss, Sparks has to get the gems like one at a time almost. So you have to kind of stay near the groups of gems a little bit longer. You can't charge through everything as fast as before, or he'll miss a good chunk of them.
Yeah, I feel like Sparks, like they had the opportunity to make Sparks a lot better, and I feel like they kind of dropped the ball on that.
So we got 5 eggs, the requirement for Beastmakers. And no more egg thieves to be got for the rest of the run. Just gotta finish up the 50 dragons, which will happen by the end of Beastmakers, because that's the requirement for going on to Dreamweavers afterwards. And so there were multiple routes originally for this game on the original version. One was made popular by probably this game's like highest legacy runner, Saboom, and it starts with going into Terraced Village on this level, which you can do a glider on the side to get to it quickly. And it's on the way, and there's 2 dragons in it, so it's a pretty good route. You notice how he didn't complete all the Clifftown areas earlier on in Peacekeepers. So to make up for that dragon that he didn't get, that would normally be gotten in the original Spyro 80%, we'll get some dragons here. And it's also pretty good gems in this level.
Yeah, and I think one of the best reasons why Saboom's route translates well to this game is because there's no like game-specific trick that you need to do in the route. So like the only reason why the current like Spyro 1 80% run, like the route that I do, the only reason why it's as good as it is because you can do stuff like Mama Proxy and Light Caves, which are no longer possible.
But we don't really fret too much when these tricks aren't around, because we're just like, oh, okay, we'll just follow the guy who didn't want to do these things in the original.
Yeah.
And everything works out. So if it looks like there's a route, we didn't really route the game very fast. It's kind of hardy. We were like, it was a lot of oh yeahs and oh yeah and oh yeah. And us having to go check YouTube and go like, oh, Saboom did this. And which kind of makes me sad. I don't think Saboom's gotten this game yet.
No,
I haven't gotten word.
Decided against it last minute, I think.
Last minute? That's an emotional decision.
It's quite the investment, you know, getting a new console for like one game, so.
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah. And it'll come out on PC eventually, and we'll probably just get it then.
So yeah, I'm a little bit skeptical with these cycles because I'm still not sure how they work. Definitely need to test this a lot more.
Yeah, getting those guys in the meantime while you're waiting, the guys on the right, can really help. Oh, you even go further down on this whole thing. You get all the gems down here too.
Oh, well. I was going to, but dying in this game is so slow that, you know, I'm just going to try and make up those gems later on.
Yeah. I think Saboom just went to the dragon and then just...
No, he continues down around the edge and grabs some gems, so...
I've got to watch his most recent one, yeah. Yeah, from this level onwards, or basically from Peacemakers onwards, and halfway through Magic Crafters, the gems are just better. If you get... Almost every gem he gets now is going to be like blue and yellow, which are 5 and 10 gems. Because it might seem like a lot, but 6,000 adds up pretty quickly.
Alright, this level's pretty tough to do fast, but I'm gonna try my best.
Yeah, wild flight cycles are important because there's a lot of situations where two objectives will be right next to each other, whether it be a plane and a chest or a boat and an arch. And so figuring out the right cycles and making no mistakes is pretty paramount here.
Okay, yeah, this should be good.
Interesting.
As you can see, like, with the charge being in the game now, like in the flight levels, it just changes the whole ball game. You can do some pretty crazy stuff. There's some even crazier stuff you can do at the end of this level. That's in like the IL time by Alex Desk, but we're just not gonna go too crazy. So just doing like a typical route that I would used to do back in the original game. That's like reliable, at least.
And you could start off with this plane and chest room. That's something that I do. It's a little more beginner friendly, and it's probably like 2 to 4 seconds slower. But if you if this game's just starting out, you're just trying to get some runs done, there's plenty of different routes that you can do if something seems a little too tricky for you.
Yeah, that's one thing about this game is like people are still finding like crazy routes that are much different, and you know, like they might be faster. Especially like flight levels, you can probably find some crazy stuff with all the new tech that's in there. Just a lot of opportunity in these games to find new stuff now.
So that boar outside of the Misty Bog Gate, he tried to flame it. It's not a big deal if you don't, because once you leave the level, he'll be dead.
Yeah, they actually kept that for some reason. Out of all the things they kept,
it was intentional. I think they want to make it so whenever you leave a level,
you don't get hit by those things.
You don't want to be a target or able to be hurt.
Yeah, I think that's why they did it in the originals as well. So, neat little thing is that Misty Bog goes in a circle, so you can actually get to the end of the level from the start by just doing something like that. And I couldn't really see there.
And the boars have a much different rhythm. The boars are so much more intense at this end of the stage. They charge you as soon as you land. In the original, you can just like, I don't know, the draw distance and how far away they are before they're triggered. It's a lot different in this game.
Alright, I am a little bit worried right now because of my sparks not being here.
So something that did not change from the original is not having sparks still sucks.
Yeah.
They made sure to keep that in. So now every gem that's on the ground, if he doesn't have his dragonfly with him, he has to pick up manually, actually touch it with Spyro's body. Which for chests, it's not that bad. But if there's a big pile on the ground, it just looks like it's the clumsiest thing ever.
Oh, crap. Yeah. I got licked. That's unfortunate. Oh well.
So, normally that wouldn't be bad if you haven't gotten a dragon yet, but he's on the other side of the level. And so he's got to do that whole platforming piece again. That's why this level's probably... This level and Treetops, the back-to-back and Beastmakers in the middle of the run, are some of the hardest levels. I would say they are the two hardest.
It's definitely the gauntlet, I would say.
Yeah.
Just grabbing an extra life here, just to be safe. Oh wow, he really got me.
It's the same one, too.
Yeah, he's out for blood. These plants are really tough to deal with because they just react differently.
You can even kill the plant and get hurt at the same time. There's a lot of enemies in this game that can give you a double knockout. It's interesting how something can charge you and you can charge them, and they can stab you and you can still flame them.
Those boars are really just unpredictable in this game.
They do. Typically the boars in the last one just charged and then stopped, turned around, charged again. These ones will turn while they're charging. They'll just... and they'll turn on a dime too.
They're really wild boars now. Like,
okay.
That's how I feel about it.
More like Misty Boar.
Misty Boggo.
Misty Borg.
Misty Borg. Alright, let's get out of that level. That was a little bit rough.
That's perfect. I'm taking notes. This was on pretty okay pace too.
Yeah, I was probably on PB pace. I might still be able to get a PB with this, but we'll see. Because I feel like Misty Bog was probably one of the bigger time saves that I have in the run. But
well, it's all in comparison to your personal best.
Yeah.
Compared to somebody else's personal best, they can always lose a minute somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Apparently flight levels are definitely one of those that people are having the most trouble with right now. Because the water is like a big black hole. It's like whenever you get close to it, like it just wants to suck you in.
It's the ground in general. You can't really... it's very magnetized almost. Like the gravity's high right when you get close. It's if you're flying past arches or chests in flight levels, if they're on the ground, you can still just... it'll make Spyro stand there for real quick. And you're like, no, I just want to glide really close to the ground. I didn't want to glide on the ground.
Yeah.
So these banana monkeys are even faster in this game. So you gotta be careful. You just can't charge them all in a row like you used to. It's weird how in Peacekeepers, there's guys with guns, and you can just charge through the bullet and the guy. But when there's a monkey throwing bananas, they will kill you faster.
Yeah.
So that island hop over there with the charge ramps isn't exactly the same as it was before, but we can manipulate them and get the same effect. Still slightly slower than the original, but...
This whirlwind is the biggest troll in the freaking universe. That's all good, because...
It was a warp, you know? Back to the dragon you were just at.
Yeah, because that was useful. Oh. I've had some troubles with that.
But charging is now more of a straight down to the ground effect. In the last game, charging was kind of like downwards at a 45-degree angle. It kind of feels more like a 15-degree angle or so here, just turning directly at the ground. So you can't really charge when you're close to an edge anymore. You have to wait until you're pretty much over the platform to charge down. But those chests that were after the whirlwind, well, he was able to get most of them a lot more easily in this game because you can go right down after the spike.
Yeah, except for there's also the downsides of the walls being like really massive. So like if I did that in any different way, like if I tried to charge down at it over a different spike, like there's like gigantic invisible walls that just stop you. So things are not as they appear. Also, just pretty much doing the same thing I did with that other ramp, except for I'm using the same ramp to actually do that.
It's a lot more precise on that one. If you don't dismount on the right part of the ramp, you'll not make it back on and die. But that was pretty good first try.
Right.
So you saw Sparks not pick up some of those gems as soon as Chris would prefer. Sparks takes a little bit longer. It's not exactly Sparks' fault though. It's the fodder, the little creatures that you can kill to spawn more butterflies, to feed Sparks, to heal him back up. The butterflies take a few seconds to spawn after you kill the fodder itself. And so you can't really kill fodder and then keep charging past. You have to like stop to let Sparks eat a little bit. And you can complain about how it sucks, or you can just like not get hit. So I don't know, it's a little bit of a... This game is a little bit of a give and take when it comes to hand-holding in some situations. Like they added fast traveling, so if you forget a gem, you can go back anywhere, or a dragon or something. I wouldn't think you would travel anywhere just for a gem, but
it's nice if you're at the
yeah.
end of a run and you forgot, like, oh, I missed that gem.
Oh, like 120%, yeah.
Yeah. But it also adds for some interesting routing that can happen. Like, since there's backtracking in the other two games, you know, with fast travel, it can be interesting to route backtracking.
Yeah, like somebody may go the direct forward route in Misty Bog, and then just exit level, and then go do treetops, and then fast travel back to Misty Bog and do the right side. And so...
I guess if you're doing, like, in-game time, like, that could be a thing, which... Not sure if I agree with, because, you know,
yeah,
you take more
just...
time with loads, but, yeah. You know, gotta save time, right?
If the loading screens were really fast, nobody would have a problem with it. But the loading screens are really slow. So that's where in speedrunning people have skepticism and differing opinions, because then it turns into a run that takes about an hour and a half real time, and then you get like a sub 30 minutes. So like you could, but it would almost be as if there's got to be some rulings and discussions about that kind of stuff, because can you compare someone's... When two people have in-game times that are within a minute of each other, but their real times are 20 minutes apart, and they can still have the same hardware, just because the routing is a little different. Just, you know...
Yeah, it's tough to make decisions based on that. Just like, is it really speedrunning if you're spending more time doing
It makes you think about if you want to make it another category, or if you just want to ban stuff, or if you want to allow some things, because sometimes they're an overall trick, or like maybe guidebook warping would be banned, for example. But then what if we found like a huge glitch with it? Then they would bring it back for a category. So there's a bunch of options. You gotta consider everything and take your time with it. So Metalhead used to die, and you could just walk up to him while he was dying, but it's a cutscene, and you gotta watch him die.
Well.
A lot of cutscenes after bosses, like, you don't fight Toasty in this category, but after you kill him, it's unskippable cutscene of watching his gate open at the end.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
It's a good thing I'm here.
Yeah.
For this any percent category.
Where we totally do Toasty.
And just a few more gems.
Yeah, good gem count so far.
The route's a little different since you can't jump directly back up to the ledge after you get a safe out here. But there's a few workarounds. He's got a few options for getting back up.
So we didn't see as he 90%, but that guy has a 10 gem, and it auto homes in with the debris killing him, so it's super.
Does it? Ooh.
Yeah, it's cool. Like
that
homes
cool.
in from super far away. Also, yeah, like, you can see that, like, not being able to skip those key chests, like, it can get really annoying to just watch them. You used to also be able to, like, charge really close to them and get the gems to home in, usually. And, yeah, that's no longer a thing. They kind of all pop out, and they aren't collectible until they land. And even then, Sparks is like, I don't really want to grab that gem.
So as you'll see whenever he exits a level portal, I was going to say this when he left Metalhead, he was holding a direction, but Spyro leans in the other direction that you're pressing. He leans in the direction of the camera. And then when Spyro becomes controllable by the character for real on the ground, he'll actually go the direction that you're pressing. So it can be kind of weird and throw your mind off. If you're holding left when you're leaving a portal, he'll turn right, and then he'll actually go left when he lands. And then the camera realigns. So it's kind of hard to be optimal in those areas. One of the things that no matter who you are as a runner, old or new, you're going to have to come across these differences.
So I still don't understand these freaking guys. Like, I don't know how the cannon shot twice there. It's just not how it used to be. And it's not very consistent. It's like sometimes they'll shoot once and sometimes that happens. Just Also,
So there
it's
is no
better
way
get
to,
him turn that.
there is no way to skip over those two guys at the bottom. The two guys that we just shrunk to get through the door.
I haven't tested thoroughly with it. But
Yeah, no
I
way
assume
currently.
not.
And this is the only staircase that you can get up here, unless we can find another proxy, maybe up a dragon statue somewhere or something. But
Oh, that would be interesting. Yeah.
yeah, or like there was a clipping method found just yesterday, I believe, or earlier today, where you could get through the seam in a corner in some places, depending on if there's still floor collision on the other side, maybe. But there's still options that we can look into stuff for clipping up there, so we can skip having to use the cannon.
Yeah. So another flight level here.
Only 2 levels left. Only 2 levels done in Dreamweavers. It's probably one of the shorter worlds, and you just do the flight level because it's a quick, good amount of gems, and then you are not that far away from Jacques, and then Jacques is right near the end of the level. So. This level's the same as the original, but if you want to turn quickly, you got to do some bonks and some charge turns or whatever they're called.
Yeah, I don't even know what to call them at this point.
Yeah.
Cycles are mostly the same, but yeah, with the flame being the way it is, it's just a lot more difficult to get these guys right here. You have to really flame their body, because if you flame anything other than their body, it just won't work. Yeah, I think the trains are a bit slower, it seems. So, just gonna grab everything like this. Ugh. Good
yeah, and typically,
these guys.
typically you would want a train to be the last thing you get, because these guys are nearly impossible to... So, in flight levels, you want to make sure you don't have to do that big flying animation at the end. As we saw in other flight levels, he would bump into a wall or something to make it so he could end the level about 3 or 4 seconds faster. But in this level, if you leave a flying guy, little propeller dude left, your animation at the end is going to completely follow through, and you can't cancel it with any buttons.
Yeah,
so this is the part where... Okay. Yeah.
Well, like, some of the animation cancels just don't even really make sense in this game.
Oh, yeah.
It's really weird.
Sometimes you go through things, sometimes it lets you stop.
Mm-hmm.
And, so this is where the gem counts come to matter. So in Jacques, you'll need about 350. And...
Need about 350.
And so the overall level, I think the overall level has 500? Does it itself? Or okay, so... And Jacques himself, I don't remember if it's like 150 or 200.
175.
175. And so once he has about 175 gems from the rest of the level, he can just go take on Jacques, and then you'll know you got enough. And this is where just game knowledge comes to help, because he knew that those guys on the right had some decent gems before starting off on the left. And left is the better route for going to Jacques, because there's this nice key chest.
Okay, got him.
So that's what I was talking about with him not being able to turn well, and with flame charges, and how the environment is overly detailed now. So all those flames were eaten by the tower itself.
And just the flame in general is just a smaller hitbox as well now, so it's just a bit different.
So here's Jacques. You see he had 190. That's plenty. So after getting rid of Jacques, you'll have about 6,015 gems or so.
Yeah, so I overgemmed a bit, but it's fine.
It's not a big deal. Jacques' a little faster too, so you want to make sure that you flame, because he's actually pretty close to hitting you. And if he does hit you on that last platform, you're not gonna...
Yeah, I think you're just dead.
You're not gonna like that. You might be able to glide to the bottom and then go all the way back up again, but... Yeah.
Alright, so, that was pretty decent, Jacques. This is gonna be close.
It is 6,015
we're gonna have
because
to see
there's the one gem on the
time.
outside. Knew it.
Are you ready to go?
Can't believe you got 6,014, and then that one gem on the outside made it 6,015.
Yeah,
Just like I predicted.
just like you predicted.
That's why I'm the best at this game. I'm just letting you run the marathon.
Yeah, you should have just did the run.
Yeah.
Speed run? Yeah. We're going fast here.
Look how fast this loading screen is. And time.
All right.
I wonder if there is a theoretical best time for this game. Like, say if you took Saboom's route, the closest example we could to compare the two, and then you got rid of every dragon statue and thief and all the things that would count away from in-game time in this, and then so we can maybe come to a theoretical idea of what potentially this could be for in-game time. If we got rid of all the loading screens, dragon statues, that would be some interesting math if anybody wants to do that. There's plenty of people in speedrunning. Speedrunning isn't just what you see on the streams.
Yeah.
People running. There's a lot of people that, in every community, there's a handful of people that like to do the little testing, look for skips, stuff like that. The Spyro Discord currently is like 1 out of every 10 strat videos is useful, and the rest is like, look, I can stand on the leaf, or something. It's We just like to know every little nifty thing, because you never know when it'll come in handy. So Narc Cove used to have a way to fly over the rock wall, and it may in the future. It's only been out for 5 days. So, but right now there's a pretty cool way that you can see most of the level, and still get through pretty quick with a few strats. We already saw him hop from island to island earlier on in the first half, and in the second half you'll completely just skip the whole cave section and just hop straight to the ferry at the end. It's only got 1 level of sparks as well, so he wants to make sure not to hit the water twice. Almost got hit by a guy, and then it would make him have to go down there, get a rat, and come back up and do it again.
If I went down there, I would just go through the cave, but yeah, we're good.
So he'll probably want to get a sparks on the way out of this level before going into Twilight Harbor. There's a few gun guys that like to turn around and shoot in this version, and with their Splatoon guns.
Yeah, I might divert from the optimal path here, just to be safe.
And so see, he got rid of that fodder to try to refill sparks, but he waited a second and he just went in the level. He waited long enough. It didn't even eat him. Sparks just takes too long. You did hit a rat, yeah. It died, and you waited a second. And I think you might have waited a second, not for the fodder, since you now realize you didn't even hit him. I feel like you just have a habit.
I thought I was gonna bonk.
Oh, okay. Because in 120, you also have to hit that chest, wait, and go in. I thought that's what your habit was.
It could be. But yeah, that is definitely how you have to do it.
Are you gonna do the thing?
Am I gonna? No. I haven't really seen what you can do in this level.
Oh, okay. Well, I know a guy that's streaming later on that you can watch. He does
Is his name BubblesDelFuego?
Don't call me out like that, but yes, that's his name. Twitch.tv/BubblesDelFuego if you just want to,
Don't call me. Ooh, this is close, guys.
Oh, are you keeping splits? I heard your foot pedal. You're splitting.
I'm 4 seconds behind.
Well, it's impossible to PB them. This is optimal. It all depends on how fast you get these keys. It all comes down to that because, these key thieves are fast. I think they're, I don't know. It could just be confirmation bias, but they feel faster in this one almost.
They're tough, but hopefully I get the quick versions, or like what I would consider the fastest way to get them.
So you can still kind of quickly flame the first guy. It's a little bit further forward than what it used to be. And you can kind of quickly flame them both. They're just about... They run about 10 feet forward before you can get them, but it's the fastest we figured out so far. If you're gliding while you're going towards them...
You can get that guy really fast,
yeah.
But this guy is... this guy's a bit further down the road. Although those are really fast. You gotta cut the corners.
Yeah,
those
nice. And Nork shoots even further and faster. I've gotten hit by him a few times, actually. I just get mad. I'm like, this guy can attack you?
Oh, we just thought he just skipped leg day and he's all...
Oh no, he's running laps when you're not here. His whole body is a thigh.
His whole body is the thigh. What does that even mean?
What? It's just... I don't know how I can define that any better. It just...
Alright.
So you have to jump and flame him, or else your flame will be eaten by his little platform right there. And so you actually do have to be quick to kill Nork here, because he can just die and do another lap. And so at times here when he gets hit...
Oh, no, it wasn't PB. But I think in-game time this might be a PB.
Yeah, it all varies. And you can actually skip the credits in this game, which is super nice.
What does he have? Alright, let's check this out.
Is Katie on standby telling you the time?
33:11? Yeah, I think that was PB. PB by like 10 seconds, boys.
Is that a welly rally?
I don't know who's got...
It matters. It matters so much.
Let's check the time. Let's see.
I think SR.com is like a 35 something right now, but I think some other people have had lower times.
Yeah, Roach had 33:31. Lulu has 33:47. That was a welly rally.
Oh my god, a marathon record. It's almost like this came out like 5 days ago.
I know, right? Oh my god.
This is the advantage that this is the bullshit sorry, it's the advantage that you have, this bullcrap advantage from getting it 3 days early.
Yeah,
He's been
right.
practicing so hard.
I had to work all week, okay?
Sleepless nights.
Anyway, yeah, that's Spyro 1. We got Spyro 2 100% coming up. That should be pretty awesome. It'd be cool to see what Shaw's already done with that. Yeah.
Ooh.
So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining me, Bubbles, and thanks for having us, Faulty. And Phoenix, thanks for putting on this marathon yet again. Good stuff. Let's finish out strong. Get damn balls.
What do we say?
See you guys.